Hi everybody, welcome to this general playthrough free video guide for Pro and Expert Division in the Canada 9-Hole Cup General Wind Directions. Please give me a thumb up and make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Remember that this tournament will have steady wind modifiers, so the winds you'll get for the qualifying round will be repeated in the final round. Excellent chance to dial in and do well. I will be covering expert and also free-to-play Master Division content, so why don't you step up? As the winds don't change, you've got a really good chance of dialing in some approaches and winning some better prizes. Shots from the archive here from various tournaments in recent times. General wind directions, of course, but should give you an idea of how you want to approach the holes. There's going to be some very good opportunities here. Remember to keep checking on the channel. Loads more content coming in the next 7 days. We get tailwind, we've got to go aggressive, and we've got maximum wind strength in expert level here to give you an idea of what you could be dealing with. In pro it's a little bit trickier because your wind strength will be less, but we want to get down that fairway as much as possible. We're going here with plenty of top spin, 2 bars side spin to the left, setting up at plus 24 with the APOC 5 and above. At APOC 4 that will be at max, so you can play this with lower level APOC. Extra mile 9 could work as well, as could the big topper. Little bit of a push-up depending on the wind strength. This was dialed in from a previous tournament. Full overpower with a slow needle. Don't need to push up to max because then you would land directly in a hazard and not bounce over at all. So this is one where you need to look at the wind direction. But a nice slower needle helps me hit perfect. And we get the ball down very nicely with the top spin and the tailwind. Drive distance of 448 yards. If you can't get distance on the drive, there is a rough bump that can be played here. Layup, that is usually with the sniper. And if you're mid-distance on the fairway, you can go grizzly or long iron. But here I'm playing with the thorn because I gained plenty of distance on the drive. I was doing a back fringe check because, like I said before, this was dialed in from a previous tournament. Different wind angles that you may get would need different reference points as well. But I'm playing a no spin shot, leaving the ball guide short of the pin because of the tailwind. And it's true club distance really, and it's 20% elevation. This plays considerably downhill. If you have crosswind here and you've got down there enough with your drive, maybe using a top spin ball. If you haven't had enough tailwind, then you might want to increase the elevation because you've got the side wind on the second bounce, so it's going to affect the ball a bit more. But here, a perfect ball away, and we drop it nicely for an eagle on this par 4. On this par 3, we do have crosswind, slight element of headwind as well. Going to play with 2 bars backspin, 1 bar side spin to the right. This is from Expert Division. I've switched to a windfall ball just to keep the wind below 8 miles an hour. It's always useful on this hole, and indeed par 3s in general, especially up in Expert, if we can kind of limit the wind to below 8 just to guarantee a little more chance of dropping the shots consistently. Top of the yellow ring, touching the rough, ball guide as shown. You can sometimes need to offset this one depending what wind angle you get. I'm playing this one mid plus 25. And I have a small 1159 pull. That's because we adjust down into the sand and therefore lose distance. So you do need to watch your pull angle on this hole, especially if you are adjusting to a higher or lower point. Perfect ball away, and here we hit the rough very nicely, and the ball rolls out onto the green, and we drop it right at pin. We now move on to a par 5, and once again I'm going to play with the quarterback. There is an aggressive option on the right hand side with an APOC, but you would need a power 5 wind 3 ball really if you want to try and go for the rough bump, playing with curl on the drive from the APOC. But here for a more general club level, the bounce over with the quarterback, plenty of left spin needed here, setting up at plus 9 with the quarterback level 10, and the adjustment is max distance 10% elevation. Little bit of left curl here, outer wall, left curl, ball touching the outside wall of the adjustment ring to the left, hitting perfect there, minor great left, minor great right, I would think would be fine with the quarterback or the rock, of course, and we want to lay up towards the end of the fairway, drive distance of 304. Playing this route really takes the albatross out of the equation unless you are really lucky, but it does secure the eagle, and if you're not confident in going for the rough bump, then this will be the approach for you. Adding spin, we need all the right spin and some back spin as well. And we're setting up with a red ring touching the rough because I'm going to use a bit of curl, especially in this wind angle, so I don't want to set up too close to the rough. That also safeguards against hitting a great right. Second bounce just on the beginning of the fringe, and the ball guide aiming left of pin. Then we are adjusting true club distance, 5% elevation, because I'm 2 yards away from max. I'm deducting 2.5% slider, so this one is played at 95% slider, 5% elevation. More information on club distance using a slider and min, mid and max on the Academy tutorial playlist on the channel homepage. Bit of right curl brings it in nicely. Not a bad attempt, very easy eagle putt though, which is all we can ask, playing safely on the left side. To begin with, finding max with the Grizzly level 7, then applying a spin, and we're going with 2.2 back spin and 1.8 side spin to the right, sticking with the katana. Don't need a power 3 ball. We do just have level crosswind. We are going to see the red max line here when we adjust max plus 15, but we don't need overpower. There you see it just at the bottom of the screen. We are going to be absolutely fine. We're going to make this hole in one regardless. So blue ring touching the rough on the right at max with the power 2 ball, Grizzly level 6, 7 and 8. So bounces very, very nicely in the backspin and the right spin do their thing, and we sneak it in. Right side for a hole in one. We're using a Titan and we have cross tailwind here, so can play with the rock. 3.5 bars top spin, 1 bar side spin to the left, aiming straight down the middle of the fairway there. Adjustment max plus 15. Max plus 15 here. I like using the rock here. Obviously, if you don't have the rock in this level, then you may well have to use a different driver, but the setup and the adjustment should be the same. Just concentrate on the second bounce if you are using a driver with different accuracy. So max plus 15 there, 3.5 top spin, 1 bar side spin to the left, and this runs down there very nicely. Using the rock, minor balls hit great left, great right, will be absolutely fine, but obviously if you're using extra mile, you may clip the rough due to the narrow fairway. Second shot, the sniper, very good attempt with this wind angle for an albatross. 2 bars top spin, then I'm going to find the position there. Second bounce in the rough, we want to hit the rough and then roll out. Using the top spin, aiming the ball guide at the hole. 5.4 is what we have wind direction here, wind strength rather, and the adjustment here, I'm going with 5.9. So this is just over medium distance with 15% elevation. So can be playing on the slider for this one. 66% slider. Bounces very, very nicely in the rough and drops beautifully at the pin for a lovely albatross. Playing with the APOC, 4 top spin, 3 bars side spin to the right. You don't need the level 6, however you could play this very easily with an APOC 4 and even an APOC level 3. You would need to push up a few yards. So plus 10 with APOC 5 plus, and it's at max power 3 with APOC 4. The adjustment is max plus 10. Max plus 10, and the amount of top spin is determined really by the wind angle. If you have more tailwind, you'd need to reduce the top spin slightly. Going with just under 2 balls of curl to the right, no overpower, hitting perfect, and the right spin and the curl combined with the top spin will bounce in the middle of the fairway, second bounce in the rough, and then it will roll out and onto the green for a simple putt for the eagle. Could even push that a little bit further if you want to get it close to the pin, but an eagle here is fantastic. If you're enjoying the free content and want to help keep it free and support the channel here, head over to patreon.com/BK Golf Clash. Loads of different membership levels, all have the same perks. You get wind charts early, you get elevation sheets, exclusive content as well, episodes of my club guide series up there as well. So plenty to help you out as membership perks if you want to help support the channel. Hole number 7, a difficult one to dial in here. The wind angles will have quite an effect on the trajectory of the ball because of the long second bounce. But the quarterback is the play. 2.6 backspin, 2.3 side spin to the right. It will vary depending what wind angle you have. That is what is working in this one for me though. I'm looking at the blue ring touching the beginning of the fringe, and the blue ring also touching the rough on the right, and that's a setup I'd be using regardless of the wind angle, because it gives me a nice consistent bounce. Mid plus 20 is the adjustment for this particular direction. No curl, just hit perfect. Like I said, tough one to drop here. Getting the speed right is difficult on this green. It slopes up to the pin, flattens out and then slopes away, but we get a lovely speed here, hitting the pin and falling nicely for a hole-in-one, but this is a tricky par 3. Okay, with the drive then, going with the extra mile and a katana. You can play with the kingmaker, of course, if you want to as well. 4.5 top spin, 3 bars side spin to the left. And my setup here is not going to be right at the end of the fairway. That's because we're going to get a flat bounce, which would mean we'd probably end up clipping the rough or landing in the rough or the sand. So make sure with the spin that your second bounce is clearly over the rough. So we're going for that higher bounce. Adjust max plus 10. Then we're going to go with some curl to the left and 1 ring of overpower. Now the reason I go with that rather than pushing up is because I don't want to aim at a lower point. So I apply the 1 ring of OP with the curl and then we hit perfect. And you'll see, look at where this one bounces, just on that mound there, which is absolutely fine, and we clear the rough very, very nicely. And we're going to be around the 315 yard mark. Second shot going for the rough bump, and I'm going with the grizzly because we have a top spin and we also have good accuracy and ball guide. Working out my club distance here, finding min and max line, then I'm adding 2 bars of top spin, and then we're going to set up with the ball guide going to the pin. Red ring here touching the rough as a reference as well. And then here I'm playing this one 80% slider plus 15% elevation, but as usual always check your club distance when you are playing true distance. So 80% slider, 15% elevation, and then we are going to hit perfect, which we do. You'll see this bounces into the rough and the top spin takes us very, very nicely. Just drop it left side, so maybe another 0.1 would have gone right at pin, but still dropping very, very nicely there from distance with the rough bump. Playing with the extra mile with 6 bars of top spin. You could do this drive with 4.5 top spin if you don't have extra mile 8 or any other driver with 6 top spin, but you'd need to go with a bit more overpower. Setting up at max distance, power 3 ball, then I'm adjusting max plus 10. Max plus 10 on this one. And the idea is we want to bounce firstly on the fairway, second bounce in the rough, and then the top spin will roll us out nicely onto the next piece of fairway. We could push up as well to compensate for not having 6 top spin available, depending what clubs you have available. But there you see the top spin grabs very nicely, and we want to approach the end of that shadow around 365 yards. If you're worried about being short on the drive, then you might want to go with the Goliath here. But a decent distance and sufficient top spin, you can use the grizzly. Red ring touching the rough. Ball guide I'm putting there just through the hole. And I've previously checked my club distance on this one. And I'm going to play this true club distance, 5% elevation. True club distance plus 5. So if you're near max, we'll play it near max on the slider. But if you think you're mid, then you'll play mid distance. You have to judge depending on the distance of your drive. You could use drive yardage notes as well if you're dialing in yourself. Perfect ball away. Maybe just misestimated the slider. We just sneak it in on the right side, but it falls nicely for the albatross. Thanks very much for watching this video here on the channel. If it has helped you in any way, please consider sharing it amongst your friends and clanmates in the game. Join us also on Facebook. Head over there, search for BK Golf Clash and join our free group. Loads of members there sharing shots. Free guides are posted, as well as loads of other great Golf Clash resources. So check us out there. You can join in the discussion and also leave feedback on the game in general. Finally, if you wish to help support the channel and keep the content free for everybody, please consider becoming a Patreon member. The link is in the video description down below. Good luck, see you soon, bye for now.